In the genre of hand lettering, there are so many different lettering styles to explore. However, one of the most fundamental concepts to learn is that of block lettering. Now, block lettering is one of the key steps in learning how to develop your hand lettering style, because block lettering can be turned into so many other types of lettering, which include serif style lettering such as sans serif or just basic serif, which is another word for block lettering, but also can be a great stepping stone to kind of explore more unique lettering styles like 3D lettering and so on. With that being said, hey guys, my name is Matt. Welcome to another video by artincontext.org, where we explore various art related topics, and in today's video we will be breaking down one of the most fundamental concepts of lettering, and that is block lettering. Now, we will be working with some basic tools such as Copic markers, pencils and a ruler, and this is just so we can basically break down the hand lettering process with some very simple tools. Now, when it comes to block lettering, there are many ways to kind of approach a block lettering text. However, what we're going to do is we're going to first look at normal block lettering and slowly develop our text from there and look at variations of block lettering. So normal block lettering is the first style of block lettering which we will learn how to do. So the basic formation of block lettering is basically going to set up the foundational knowledge for other block lettering styles that we will explore later on. Now, we do want to understand the basic formation of block letters to understand how the process of changing a normal text is performed. That being said, let us go through a few simple steps to understand. So the first thing we want to do is we want to write out the text. To begin, we will start by taking our rulers and pencils and proceed to draw two parallel horizontal lines across our page that will demarcate the area in which our block letters will be drawn. Now, from there we will need to choose a word for this exercise. So to keep it simple, let's just use the word normal. Now, we then want to write out the word normal within these two horizontal parallel lines using our pencils and rulers for an accurate placement and kind of positioning of our lines. The intention is to try and keep your spacing evened out. And once we have done that, what we're going to do is we're going to move on to actually outlining the text. So the intention is we want to leave a little space between the outlines and the letter, giving the text more width and body. This is how we basically turn normal text into a more blocky art style drawing, which is what identifies it as this block lettering style. So it's basically a thickening of the actual letters. Use your ruler for any letters that do have straight lines for sharper and more accurate line work, but when it comes to the curved lines, you do want to just make sure you take your time slowly emboldening or thickening those actual letters by, again, making sure you're working these outlines around them. Now, once we have outlined each of the letters, drawing lines that go around each letter, that is, we should be left with these thicker letters. We should also see how the written text is seen as a line that flows within the thicker body of each letter. We now want to take our erasers and erase those lines until we are left with an outline version of the word normal. And then from there, the intention is to basically fill in the text with your marker, and ultimately resulting in this quality of an emboldened text within each letter. Once again, some key things to think about is keeping your spacing of your letter widths the same in each letter. And what is meant by this is we want to make sure the spacing between each letter is the same, but we also then want to make sure the width of the actual thickness of each letter is the same as well. And then from there, you can obviously erase those lines, but then you can outline those lines with your marker, resulting in this very blocky text. Now, this is the normal block lettering style. Once again, you can obviously fill in that text if you would like, but the idea is that once we have worked our lines around our actual simple line lettering and created these thicker kind of lines or outlines around those letters, we can then outline it and then fill it in as we choose. However, we're going to now look at something a little different, and this is bubble block lettering. Now, another popular way to create a cool block lettering style is to give the text slight changes. So one great way to do this is by rounding the edges of each of the letters to give the block letters a more softer quality. And this is called bubble block letters or rounded block letters, which can be a great way to make a text seem less intense and sharp, but rather lighter and softer. So let's go through a few simple steps on how to create this specific block lettering style. Now, once again, we're going to write out our text as normal. So we'll start by following the same beginning process as before, where we draw two horizontal lines on our page parallel to one another, and in between these two lines, we can begin or proceed to write the word normal once again. Now, the next thing we're going to do is, once again, we are going to proceed by outlining the text. However, this time, as we outline each letter, letter, we do want to add a curved edge to each of the letters. So this means that wherever the letters end on either side of the horizontal lines, or wherever the letter obviously starts or ends, you can kind of create this curved edging to give it a softer quality. And what we're going to result in is, again, this quality of making sure we keep consistency within the thickness of each letter, making sure all the letters are the same thickness, and as well the spacing between each letter. And then once we have done that, we can then proceed to erase the lines of our letters within those outline qualities or features of our block lettering style, resulting in these hollow letters that are bubble-like, which we can then once again fill in first by outlining the letters with our marker and then filling it in with our marker, resulting in another very fun, very unique, and very useful type of lettering style. Again, it's really good to understand these very simple styles of block lettering because you can play around with tweaking and changing them for various lettering artworks. Now we're going to start shifting towards a little bit more nuanced and interesting styles of block lettering. However, this process is still the same. So we now understand fundamentally how to kind of establish these block lettering styles by first establishing the actual word that we want, and then around those letters we can kind of tweak and change them. However, with curved block lettering, the intention here is to first basically write your letters. Once again, we're going to write the word normal, but this time we can add curvature to each of our letters. Now this is a more playful and a little bit more fun way to kind of create block lettering. But basically, once you have created or written out the word normal, once again, not worrying too much about using horizontal lines to establish an area in which you need to write your letter, because you can play around with adding curvature to the various lines within each of those letters. And then by nature of that, you can then proceed to again embolden or outline these letters once again by basically working these thicker outlines around the lined lettering, resulting in this blocky letter style. But this time we are working with a curved text, which does have a very quirky and very interesting kind of visual quality. And then from there you can proceed to outline the text once more and then fill it in as you choose. And this is just another fun way to kind of create something a little bit different, a little bit unique. Once again, it is really important to understand the block lettering style in its fundamental ways, because then you can proceed to start changing and tweaking and rearranging them in strange ways to result in more quirky and fun variations of block lettering. But otherwise, now we basically understand the fundamental concepts associated with block lettering, and now we're going to move on to creating maybe something unique, and this is where we can create our own style of block lettering. So the intention here is to really be creative and playful. Maybe use your ruler to create more geometric style block letters. You can create a variation of curved and geometric styles, but in this case we're going to begin with the same process of writing out a text. However, this time you can explore writing your letters in any form or shape. Once we have done that, we're going to move on to outlining the text once more. So we will start by filling in the text with our black coping marker, just so we can practice filling in the text. And this is also a great time for you to take your micron pen maybe to go over your line text to embolden this line. You don't always need to actually erase those line text. You can actually go over them and then just kind of work around them, because ultimately you will be filling them in anyways. Once you have done that, the process is again the same as before, where you start to work in these boldened outline lines around your line text, and by nature of that you start to create this blocky quality within your text, and then you can proceed to fill in the text as you choose with various colors or just a black marker. It is really up to you, but play around with these concepts you have learned, where basically you write out your various letters or choose a word of your choice. Again, we're just using the word normal in this particular video, but you can choose whatever word you want, play around with letter variation, and then proceed to kind of create those letters in your own style. And then you can proceed to follow the same process of giving that blocky quality by outlining them and then filling them in. And then lastly, we're going to play around with a more unique and interesting way of working with block lettering, and that is adding details to your block letters. So this section is an additional part of the tutorial to provide you with some ideas for adding details and fun features to your block letters. And adding details, once again, is just another great way to enhance your block lettering by using funky colors, shapes, and just playing around with the look and feel of your block letters. Once again, the idea is that once you have filled in your text or kind of established your letter, created the outlines, established the actual blocky nature of your text, erased the lines within the center of the text, you can then start to play around with maybe filling in your text. So that is one option where you can actually fill the text in. Maybe you can play around with filling the text in with different colors. So that's where you start to just explore color variations and what colors work well together. And then the last thing is you can play around with adding in actual patterns. So in this case, maybe you want to add in some dots, again exploring color variations while exploring various pattern styles. Another thing to explore is obviously adding in maybe line patterns. This is where you can create more kind of fabric like patterns within your text. And then it's really up to you guys. You can scribble, you can kind of work through the lines. It's a matter of just mental exploration and really being creative with your pattern combinations, your stylistic choice of your letter formations, whether you want to keep it simple or curved or geometric. It is really up to you. But otherwise, that is the general idea of how to create block letters. But I hope this tutorial is very helpful and informative. Again, some key concepts to think about. First, think about the letters you want to kind of establish, or the words you want to choose. And then from there, you want to think about keeping a consistency within the thickness. If you're trying to go formal, you can also change and play around with various thicknesses within each letter. But make sure you write the letter out, work in these outlines around your lined lettering, and then from there, play around with how you fill them in or add unique details and patterns. But otherwise, guys, that is it. Most importantly, remember to have fun. If you did like this video and if you are interested in similar related topics, please do let us know in the comment section below, and please show us some love by liking and subscribing to our channel. We explore so many different art topics. In this case, we are doing some videos on text, hand lettering, and that kind of genre. If you are interested in topics related to this, again, please do let us know in the comment section below. But do like the video, do subscribe. That helps us to grow the channel, which ultimately enables us to make more art related content for you guys. But thanks again for tuning in. That's it from us today. Until next time, see ya. Cheers.